Mic check.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2.
Mic check to mic.
Hello.
Niners best team in the NFC.
Or just talk louder.
Hello. Does that work? Is it good or does it work? Like, can it be better? Can it be worse?
Do I sit closer? Do I sit further away? Good to go? All right, guys. Welcome to the Trophy Cast. This is going to be our introductory, or I guess inaugural podcast, where the intent is to talk about anything and everything that we want. But today's episode is going to be focused solely on how this whole thing came to be. For some of you guys that are here from the Whatnot community, you guys already know a little bit more about how the trophy room came about. However, we're going to get into a little bit more detail from start to finish, or from beginning, from the inception of the idea of what could be to where we're at now, how we got to this podcast and things like that. So sitting to my right, I want to introduce you guys to Maria Vidal Sassoon.
You know it. You know it.
And then to my left is my niece, Brittany Velasco, the CEO in charge, head honcho.
The boss.
Or is it head honcha? I don't know. I have to figure out.
La patrona.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, la patrona.
Oh, I like that. Can
Harry
we
Potter-esque.
can we get a tag or a plaque, or what do you call it? A little name tag?
Yeah,
like
we
that?
can.
That's dope, dude.
La patrona.
I like that. So for those of you guys that are here, subscribe. We're going to be doing this on a weekly cadence. We're going to be talking about a wide range of things. Who knows what next week's going to bring? I mean, we literally talk about anything and everything all the time, and our conversations get so animated at times that we're like, let's just bring this out to the world, because it's always super fun.
It might sound like a fight, but it's not.
Yeah, and sometimes and sometimes like it's, I don't know, it's just the way that we all get down as a family.
I promise we're not fighting.
Yeah, for real.
We're lovingly yelling.
It's hecka funny because I can't tell you how many times like we've all been talking about something, or it doesn't matter what the conversation is. Most recently it was politics though, and Brittany comes home and me and Mama Trophy Room are sitting there talking about what's going on, and Brittany's like, what's happening? And we're like, well, nothing, we're talking about politics.
It's like I can hear you in the driveway.
Yeah. So it gets fun. All right, so what we're going to do today, though, like I said, is we're going to get started just talking about how this whole thing came to be, because, Brittany's been doing this for quite some time now, and I think you said it was 16 years ago you started, right?
Yeah, I was 16, 2006.
Okay. That's crazy. So give us a little rundown, take as much time as you want, and just let us know how this got started.
So I was 16. It was actually, I believe, around November. And I was like, I want to buy Christmas gifts, but I don't want to ask my mom and dad. I was like, how ridiculous is that I have to go ask them for money.
At 16 people.
Buy them their own gifts, and then be like, surprise, I got this for you, but you paid for it. I just really didn't want to do that. So I was trying to think of ways to do it, and I played sports, and I played basketball year-round, and my parents had always said, if you played sports, you don't have to work. Just be a kid, enjoy school. And so I really didn't have time to get a job. So I remember my aunt, who lives in New Mexico, she was really big into thrift stores. I had really never had experience in them, but she came for the summer previously and talked about them, and I think she was there for Christmas. So she was there, she took us to a thrift store, and at the time, Abercrombie & Fitch was huge. That's what the girls wore. I wore the jeans. So, and I remember my mom would go buy these jeans, and I'd be like, man, they're like $80 jeans. So I remember walking into a thrift store, and the first thing I see is a rack of jeans, and the first pair of jeans on there was Abercrombie & Fitch. And I was like, $7? I was like, my mom pays $80. I was like, I could sell these for like $20, $30. Because at the time,
So the first thing you thought about, so you came across these pair of pants that you wanted, and the first thing that you thought was how I can make money off them, not that you wanted to wear them.
Yeah, I know how much they are, and I know how much
That's what you call a hustler, ladies and gentlemen.
I didn't have personal experience with eBay, but my dad, I would say, dabbled in it every now and then. I just remember him selling maybe a pair of sports tickets. I think he was season ticket holders for the Raiders. So every now and then he'd throw a pair up, or he would just sell random things. It wasn't something consistently he did. But I remember eBay. Yeah, I just remember eBay. At the time, eBay only did auctions. So now you have buy it now. You can offer. At the time, eBay was only auctions. And so I remember thinking, okay, my dad has an eBay. I'm going to put these on eBay for a week auction. I'm going to start them at what I pay for them and see what happens.
So you start them at $7?
Yeah, I would start them at that, see what happens. And honestly, I can't tell you. I don't remember how we shipped and all that back then. Because now it's so simple. I literally don't remember how I shipped it and got it to the post office and all of that. But I remember going through that process and them selling for like what I thought, 20 to 30. And I was like, oh my gosh, Mom, you need to take me to all the thrift stores so I can buy all the jeans. And so I believe by the time Christmas came and I shopped, I think I made about $650 in a month.
So you started in November. Christmas.
It took me about a month. I made $650 just on Abercrombie and Fitch jeans because that's what I knew. I knew what I spent on them, and I knew they were only $7, and some places even cheaper. So
that's crazy because like you were able to find that many Abercrombie and Fitch jeans like in thrift stores. Like there's just that surplus that's out there.
But that's also what I looked for because again, at the time, that's all I knew.
Right.
But as I went, I would be like, okay, I see this. Oh, I see this. That's worth money. You know, just from having brothers, you know, there'd be some toys I'd see or other clothes, Nike. We know how much, you know, we're all athletes. We know how much we spend on, you know, Nike, Adidas, that kind of thing. So then when that month came and went, I was like, you know, what else can I do? Let me look through the other clothes. And I started doing that.
So what were you doing in the meantime? Were you working somewhere else?
No, I was playing basketball. I played basketball year round.
So you're playing basketball year round. Just wanted to make some money.
Just wanted to make money.
You wanted to Christmas. You wanted to actually buy somebody the Christmas presents, not have it bought for you.
And so after that, I was like, man, I could do this on the weekends, or because you know, playing year-round basketball, there's a lot of time on your hands between games. After you could be in another city, we traveled, so I would be like, Mom, can you take me to this thrift store? Like, can you, while we're, you know, have a break or after a game, or we'd go. And so after Christmas, it became just like, oh, I'm just going to start making my own money to kind of put away. I can't tell you what I spent. I probably spent it on food, to be honest. After school, I'd go eat, you know, and be like, guys, I got money. Let's go. I was a walking distance to Little Caesars.
Follow me.
Follow me. We all get our own
$5
pizza.
hot and ready.
So, yeah. So, like, honestly, I can't think of anything that I spent that money on other than Christmas presents. I would assume just food, really, because as a high school kid, what did I do?
Yeah, you're 16. You're
and you know me,
young.
I was like antisocial as well. So like I didn't, other than basketball, I didn't do anything else. So I probably really just spent it on food or saved it. So then fast forward, I did that. Probably when it came to more my senior year, I focused on school. But then I graduated, went to college, and did it through college. And then I was approached by someone. I think one of Jordan's basketball coaches was like, hey, can you come work at a middle school? You seem like a perfect fit. You're good with kids. So I did that for 5 years, but I also sold on the side, part-time still, because I still enjoyed it. You know, still bringing in an extra income was nice. So then in college, that's actually when I met Maria. But she did her own thing on the side.
So you were already hustling.
Well, I think from a young age, like, anything I could, I'd put on Craigslist.
What?
Yeah, like, if my brother had, like, something he didn't want anymore, I'd, like, put it on Craigslist and, like, put my dad's number, and people would come meet me, and my dad would be there with me. And then I didn't know about eBay or anything, and, like, I didn't have a phone or a computer till after high school because my parents are very old school. So it was literally just using my dad's, like, little phone or like our home computer to post on Craigslist, and then
that's crazy.
And then I started doing eBay once I met Britt.
So you guys were both in college, both happened to be doing the same side hustles, and then just met.
Yeah, and she actually knew my cousin first.
Yeah,
so
I was the same major as her cousin, and I think we ended up meeting. I don't know what it was, but she still did that. And then when we kind of found out, because like when you meet someone as an adult or even as in college, like you don't say, hey, I go to the bins and dig through junk.
Not then.
I dig through junk. That's
not
like,
then.
Yeah, that's kind of not like what you did then, because you don't want people to look at you like you do what?
Yeah.
You go where?
Right. You're meeting people the typical way, the casual
Nowadays, it's normal.
Yeah,
now it's like, let's
now
go.
Now secondhand is like, shopping is like the thing.
Yeah,
but then it wasn't. You were kind of like shy about telling people what you did. And so, you know, I would, before school, after school, I would, you know, go to the bins, the weigh and pay, and, you know, then go to school. So it's like, and honestly, like, if you're a reseller, you know, your trunk is always full. So, like, my trunk would always be full, and I didn't want nobody to look at me like, why does your car look like you live in it? So, like, it took me actually a long time to even tell Maria what I did, because I didn't, like, I wasn't embarrassed, but I didn't know how people would respond. You know, people are mean.
And at this point, it's funny because Brittany was like, like, when we finally started talking about it, I was like, well, where do you shop for your stuff? She's like, well, it's this place. You kind of pay by the pound. And I go, is it on Franklin? And she goes, yeah. It's like, I've been going there since I was a kid.
Did we just become best friends?
Like, my parents would take me before catechism every Monday night. We would, like, go in there. Me and my brother would, like, go play with the toys, and then we'd go to catechism. And so, like, I've been going there since I was a kid. And then Brittany's like, oh, yeah, I sell stuff from there. I was like, wait, you can make money going there? I'm like, oh, okay.
And then this is...
Go here just have a good time.
Yeah, I just go have fun.
So then my hustler brain even works more, because Maria tells me, oh, I work at Once Upon a Child, which is a kids consignment store. I was like, Maria.
That's a place I'm familiar with.
I was like, we can get the kids' clothes from the weigh and pay. You work there. You can tell us what we could take. And then we'd take bags of clothes, because her job was to look through the clothes and buy them from people. So she knew exactly what they were looking for.
Right.
So I was like, side hustle, we can do that.
And my boss knew what I was doing. I was like, oh, by the way, I'm getting all these from a thrift store, and I'm bringing, you know, I'm going to bring them in, or my friend will bring them in. She's like, that's fine. I mean, you know what we like.
Right.
Because, like, the whole part of that is to provide.
Legit, right?
Yeah.
You have somebody that's finding clothes.
Exactly.
You know what they need.
And you're keeping the clothes out of the... wherever they go
out
after
of the landfills.
And
I actually got a couple of my coworkers going and doing it too. And my boss was totally fine with it the whole time.
That's so legit.
It was really fun.
So going to the weigh and pay through all these years, I always kept the vintage stuff. Before it was even big, I had a storage full of vintage clothes, because I was like, these are so cool. I don't want to just sell them. Like, these are, like, I love sports. So finding all the sports stuff, all the Kings, all the Niners, all the Giants, finding just vintage anything was really cool. So I didn't sell it. I had a storage full of stuff.
So you were thinking maybe collector at that point.
Maybe collector, maybe hoarder. Like, I was like, gonna keep them because...
Definite hoarder.
Maybe collector, maybe hoarder.
Definite hoarder.
I'm not sure yet.
Because at the time...
Wait, you were deciding if you were gonna collect or hoard?
I gave you an out, Britt.
It was the time of... I don't think it ever crossed my mind to sell them. I was just like, man, these are so cool. I can't get rid of them. So then, like, honestly, I don't even remember the conversations, but, like, being that she did reselling and I did reselling, I was like, hey, at one point I was like, hey, let's start a business and let's just take these vintage clothes and do, like, festivals or what are they called?
So what year
like
is this at this point? Where are we at in the timeline?
I was thinking about it earlier because I knew we were going to do this. And we met in 2015 when we were still at Sac State. And then I remember I looked back on our old Instagram account. It was 2017 when we started, like, doing the vintage stuff.
So 2017 came, and we decided we call it Cali Vintage, which is actually still our LLC, because I haven't changed.
So we still have a token to our OG.
Shout out if anybody watching right now. I don't know how many viewers we got, Mike, but if anybody knows Cali Vintage.
So we started with Cali Vintage 17, and we were like, and my mom was super excited because my mom did events and sold jewelry. And so I was like, Mom, okay, me and Maria are going to go with you. We started this LLC. We're going to go with you. And while you sell jewelry, we're going to get a booth and sell vintage clothes. So we did. Our first event was the Reno Rib Cook-Off. We got a booth, and we set up for a week, and we actually did really well. And I remember looking at each other like after, like, man, this stuff's popular. I mean, I look back now and think, man, those shirts could have went for quadruple what they went for.
I took a photo of our booth. Well, we had it on our Instagram, and I look back at that photo every once in a while and I'm like, satin jackets, Brooks and Dunn, and I'm like, all this like
so stuff that you know now just by acquiring knowledge.
And I can remember certain
but
prices,
at the time,
and now it's worth like quadruple.
They weren't as, you know, now it's kind of like a pop culture thing. Like, it's taken off. It's like, that's what kids are wearing now. But then it wasn't. And it was very specific types of people that came through and knew exactly what it was and paid.
They're probably more so collectors at that time, right?
So
we're hoarders.
We did that event. So we did that event, and we did so well. I think our tent blew away one day.
It did.
Because it got so windy.
You made so much money?
I remember I went to the bathroom in the casino. I came out, and our whole tent, Maria's like holding onto one leg.
I'm holding on to it, and these like random guys just come up to me and they're helping me.
I see my dad running across from my mom's booth, and he's trying to help, but like it literally blew our whole tent away.
That Reno air, don't mess with it.
Yeah, and then our neighbor
came out to a hurricane.
Yeah,
like a little movie.
Our neighbor was a wine slushy. They did wine slushies, and he traded some wine slushies for a Coors hat. So that was cool.
We found out there was no wine in it, though.
I was going to say,
that's why they were handing it out.
Yeah.
That sounds good, but it got to be a certain type of wine.
It was the solution. It was, or not the solution. It was like the mix. There was no wine in it. And people were coming back heck of times acting tipsy, and they were just drinking wine slushy mix. It wasn't even like a wine.
So they didn't even know there was alcohol in it.
No, there was no wine. No, there was no wine.
They sold it pretty good because my mom, I think, got like 4 bottles of it. But we never used it.
So. Yeah. Shout out to the wine slush people.
But we traded for that, and
that sounds hecka good. So you're in Reno. You have your first show. It went well. Where do you guys go from there?
Well, we were gonna do it again the next year, because that was really the only event we could. After that, I think we were kind of like, okay, what do we do? I think we were just like, what do we do now? But then school started again. We were going to do it the next year, but then I had my gallbladder out literally the same week of that event, so we couldn't do that event.
And I started school again.
And then I graduated. She still had school, and I think it just kind of took a back seat to just life. I still was reselling on the side, but vintage itself took a back seat. Then that was what, 2017. The next year I had my gallbladder out, 2018. And then, life just happened, and then COVID, 2020. And I think that was when my brothers decided, you know what, we should just grow this into something bigger, which would be the reselling side of it, because they both kind of dabbled in reselling, but they didn't love it. I love it. I love thrifting and I love it, but they liked it, but they wanted to just grow a business and include other aspects, this podcast being one of them, or, a store or anything. They wanted to just take this to another level. Mm-hmm. So we sat down pretty much all of COVID and just, this is what we want to do. And we planned out this whole thing, and that's how the trophy room kind of developed. And we decided, you know what? I still had a storage of vintage, so we were like, okay, let's start with a vintage store. Let's start there. And then 2021, we were looking for a place to rent because we were going to open a store. We walk into this place, and I'm like, man, I walk in, the first thing, I'm like, man, I got to have it. I loved it. I fell in love with the brick. Just walking in here, I just knew, this was the spot. And luckily, it was either rent or sale. We put in an offer, and it was a month before that whole real estate spike. Literally 1 month before everything just went crazy, they accepted the offer. And
here we are. The trophy room.
Yeah.
In Lodi, California. So when did you buy this building?
I put the offer in on January 2021. And I got the keys August of 2021.
So that just shows how much vintage can take off, because during COVID, there's a lot of businesses that were hurting. Mm-hmm. A lot of small businesses too that had to close, or they were getting those PPP things. But your guys' stuff took off.
Well, a lot of research went into that too, because when we had to do this process of buying the building, we had to do the plans, and we had to provide numbers. So within our research, we found that the used clothing industry is supposed to be a $1 billion industry within the next 10 years. It's going to grow. Like, all of the studies that are out there show an increase, that it's just going to keep increasing, and for different reasons. Sustainability being one of them. Older clothes tend to last longer. Style, trends. But it just seems like more studies that I've read, people that are in those studies say they rather go to a thrift store to find their clothes than buy new off the rack.
Really? And
those numbers just show that it's going to keep increasing. So this isn't a market. That's why I wasn't scared of it, because this is a market that's going to keep growing. It's always going to be there. There's always going to be people buying off of eBay. But what's going to change is what you're selling.
Right.
Yeah. So you're always going to sell something. You just got to do the homework to figure out what's selling now, because it can change month to month. Literally, from the day I started, all the brands I sold back then, I don't really sell now. And that's why, even though I'm, 16 years later, when I work, I have YouTube going of other sellers, because I'm constantly taking in information of new brands, new styles. Even, like, you should even be looking at, Vogue magazine, because the styles, it's not necessarily about brand. It's about what's hot right now.
Right.
What's the style right now? Go find clothing that looks like what's in the magazines, and you'll sell it. Any
good business operating model is going to change with the times the way that it needs to, or else it's just gonna go away. Yeah. When's the last time you seen an encyclopedia? You don't anymore. Why? Because the internet.
Yeah. You know so you got to adapt.
They should have. Yeah.
That's about it.
But now they're vintage, so now you guys can pick them up, find them, and sell them.
Yeah, and then, like, with vintage, it's cool because those things, you're hitting people's nostalgia.
Right.
Which we actually just got a comment about that. The story it comes with.
Yeah, so, like, when we were selling in Reno, I remember what made it really cool was people walking by, not necessarily wanting a used shirt, but they'd come in and be like, I had that as a kid, or my mom wore that shirt. I need to buy that. Or I had a guy come through and he came back. He's like, we had a soccer bag, I think a World Cup bag, and he was like, man, I was at that game. I went to that World Cup game, and so he came back and bought it because it was a memory for him. We had a bow nose 80 shirt, Nike, right? This guy was like, I had this as a kid. So he came back and bought it for his son. So it's like the stories that people have and the attachments they have to things, that's also what makes this really cool, because I like hearing those stories. I like people coming in and telling me, oh, my grandma wore that, or, I got to have that because I wore it, so I got to give it to my kid. Like, that's what makes this really fun.
Yeah, you figure, too, like, once you guys get everything set up to where everybody's going to be able to walk in, then you're going to have all those types of conversations with people. You'll be able to interact. I mean, we'll probably do a segment like that on the podcast in the coming weeks, where we just talk about items that, that you've had. I don't know. We can talk about anything. Like me when I was a kid, Saturday morning cartoons, X-Men, that's always, no matter what I see, if I see an X-Men shirt or something, it's always going to bring back some crazy memory.
One of the best theme songs.
I can imagine that's cool. Yeah.
Literally, one of the best. That theme song was my ringtone in high school.
Was it really?
Dude, when they did the Doctor Strange 2 trailer and they played the X-Men song and you knew it was Professor X that was going to be in the movie, I was hecka pumped. All right, so Maria, now you get to tell us about yourself. We got to hear how Brittany came to be. We got into a little bit of how you met, so if you want to expand on that, like, feel free to. But let everybody know, who is Maria Vidal Sassoon? The heiress of the... I
have zero relation to Sassoon, unfortunately. Unfortunately. But no, my parents, growing up, they always kind of, like, taught us the value of I guess, because, like, what Brittany talked about, like, there's a stigma between, like, back then of going to a thrift store. And so, like, for me, it wasn't something I used to talk about as a kid, because as a kid, you're kind of, like... you don't want to not fit in and stuff like that. So it's like, but like we always shopped at thrift stores. So like I said, or also earlier, I would just get stuff, and whether or not I would use it. I mean, my mom, we grew up having yard sales like a couple times a year, to the point where like our neighbors even called on us, said that we were having too many yard sales. Like, what? I didn't even know that was a rule until
two a year
apparently. Like, you need a permit.
That's a thing?
Yeah, in Elk Grove, people are sticklers. They're like, you can only have 2 years. So anyway, so I had to resort to Craigslist, and that's when
Straighten up, Elk Grove.
I know. So shout out Elk Grove though. And then so I was selling online on like Craigslist and stuff. And when I met Brittany, and I sold stuff, like I always love guitars. Like I always pick up anything musical, and I would sell stuff like that. Or like, you know, me and my brother, we would get interested in a hobby, and then we would kind of grow out of it. So I'd sell that stuff so we could buy stuff for our new hobby. Like we went through so many hobbies as kids, so I was just always selling whatever we didn't use anymore. And then in college, my cousin's in between me and Brittany's age, because we're 5 years apart, and my cousin's like right in the middle, and she knew Brittany because their majors were in the same building. Mm-hmm. So like they kind of just met through a class and then chit chat. And one day I went over to talk to my cousin, and Brittany was there, and that's kind of how we all started hanging out. And then of course, you know, the conversations eventually come up like, what do you do?
What do you do? There's so many clothes in your car. Do you need a place to sleep?
Are you okay, Brittany? And then, like I said, like we started talking about the bins, and we've always called it the weigh and pay, which we noticed along the lines too. Like people don't call it the weigh and pay, only we do.
Wait, what's it called then?
It's called the bins, but we've called it the weigh and pay
technically
forever.
called the Goodwill outlet, but like now that it's like
but they literally weigh your stuff and you pay for it.
But like
yes,
I guess
the weigh and pay.
The cool kids call it the bins.
Yeah, but like so like.
But the innovators call it the weigh and pay.
Yeah, I've corrected myself like so many times, and now I've like trained myself to say the bins because I realize if I say weigh and pay, people might not know what I'm talking about. So I'm like, weigh and pay.
I just go and get lunch.
Yeah, just weigh and pay it, right? So yeah,
I never even thought of it like that.
So there's like a whole even this backstory to that. So then we met, and you know, I was working at Once Upon a Child, and you know, I never even thought, hey, I know where I can get a bunch of kids' clothes and bring it back to my job and make even more money. And then it's like slowly started to where I was making more money taking clothes to my job than from my job.
Oh my God.
So I was like, why am I putting my time in?
What does that do to your psyche? Okay.
And so my time, I was like, oh my gosh, like I could spend the 4 hours I work here at the bins, and I could bring it back and make the money in less amount of time. And at that point, I got that idea. Brittany was the one who was like, why don't you do this? And so it started with that, because I was kind of like intimidated by eBay. I was like, I don't know if that's for me. I'm not tech savvy. I don't have a printer. It's just like, that's an excuse. And I'm like, you're right. So
it's like you go to the weigh and pay. There's actually, like a million there.
I found my printer at
grab
the
one from the weigh.
I was like, you're literally giving reasons why you're not going to do it.
Exactly. So eventually I ended up leaving that job, and like shortly after I ended up graduating, and I started doing eBay, and like we joke about it all the time, how neither one of us really use what we went to school for. Like Britt was a soc major, I majored in criminal justice, and like neither of us do that. And like my dad's like, so you're still not going to be a cop? And I'm like, yeah, I don't
but you have the options.
I have the option.
You guys have the options to do anything you want. Like,
but see, I really tried because I graduated, but Stockton, it took like a year and a half for them to open their application. So I was waiting because I wasn't going to be a cop anywhere else. So I was like, I'm going to be a cop in Stockton, and the applications just weren't opening up. So at the time I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do this full time and see what happens. And the second I got my degree is the second I let my job know I'm done. Because I was like, kids started getting gradually worse. They're mean. I was like,
I don't have the patience for these kids that are not mine.
But bless those who do, because I did it for 5 years, and it just progressively every year just got worse. So the second I graduated college, I was like, I'm done. And then I was waiting for that application to open up for Stockton PD, and I was doing this, and it got to a point where when the application opened up, I was making more than I would entry level.
So now you're weighing just like your. So like how do I proceed within life? Like, do I do something that you're passionate about, right? Something that you're passionate about, but not as much money, or something else that you guys are you're passionate about this and making money. Because at least from my point of view, it never seemed like you guys ever treated this like a job.
No,
like, it never really felt like work. I mean, that's the one thing, like, too, like, being a reseller and being like a business owner, there's so much to it that people don't realize. I mean, the freedom of your time to get to choose. I mean, we think about it all the time. Like, I'm extremely grateful that, I can do this, and if something comes up in life, I can totally stop everything I'm doing and go take care of that. But there's a lot, like there's so much discipline that goes into it that people don't realize until they start doing it, and they're like, oh wait, I have to hold myself accountable.
Right. Because you have to force yourself to get up and go do anything.
It's easy to not work.
It's so easy to be like, I'm tired today. I'm going to sleep in. Yeah. But you can't because, and I mean, it's even better now because the four of us hold each other accountable.
Right.
Because now it's like, where you at?
Well, your responsibilities don't go away.
Exactly.
I mean, you guys have a lot of things you guys got going on. I think probably now is when if it's ever going to feel like a job, probably now is when it's going to start to feel like that.
Yeah, I think it's feeling more like a job when you have the building and like things to do. Like, okay, I got to do it. But it's still, I don't think comparing it to my other, like I remember sometimes I would dread to go to work. I would dread to like, go hear these kids be mean to me. I can't say nothing. Like that wasn't my ideal like situation. So it was so easy for me to switch over, and this doesn't feel like a job. I mean, I'm lucky to be able to work with my siblings and my best friend and even my family, like, everyone
Your Uncle John.
Yeah, my uncle, you're here,
The best host.
So, I mean, I am blessed. And I mean, like you said, looking at that moment of, do I join the police department and give this up? But at the time, too, I had my mom begging me, you're my only daughter, don't become a cop, please. Please, don't do it.
Remember that?
And
naturally.
And so for her, she wanted me, she was like, why don't you become a nurse? And I actually applied. I applied to the nursing program at UNR. I got in, but I was like, Mom, I really don't want to deal with body fluids. Like, I really don't.
There's a lot of things in this I'm not going to want to do.
It was like body fluids or like,
I was like,
get to go treasure hunting every day. And like,
I was like, I respect nurses 100%. And the fact that they do what they do, like, they're amazing. But I can't do it. I know I can't do it.
That's good. You know your limits.
And I remember I went and did the orientation at UNR, and I was like so not happy. I was like, I can go be a nurse and do it, but I won't be happy. So then that's when I fully decided, I'm done. I even thought about masters, but then I even thought about the Navy, because with a degree, you can go in as an officer. But then I had asthma, and I had, like, my eye. I can't see. I'm blind. So I was like, that might affect
Poor
me.
Brittany.
So,
they're never going to let me fly a plane or captain a boat.
Yeah. Well, I actually talked to some people about that. Like, I really, really wanted to go to the Navy because with a degree, and with my degree, I could have went in as an officer. Like, so that was a real conversation I was thinking. And, again, my mom was like, don't do this to me. You're my only girl. So at the end, I just was like, you know what, then I'm going to do this full time. And I stuck with it. And here we are.
So what are some other things that you guys are passionate about outside of this? We'll start with you, Maria.
I mean, I feel like if I start with Disney, I'm taking one of Brittany's.
It's all right. You guys could both be passionate about Disney. It's not a competition.
I think the whole Belasco family is extremely passionate about Disney. Which that's actually another thing, like, I had only been a couple times before, like, meeting Britt, and then I started hanging around her and her family, and now it's, like, annual pass holder, and, like, I became a Disney adult, and I'm kind of obsessed with that, and I just love that part. But other than that, I mean, I love the outdoors. I've been, like, missing it. Like, I need to get back out there. Like, I love camping. I love, like, just, like, me and my brother, we'd go biking once a week, and, like, I miss that stuff, but my colleagues don't like that. So it's like,
you will not find me in a tent.
No, like, they don't want to go.
You gotta.
So I guess I'm gonna have to go out on my own because I think we should just all do it anyway.
I did a hike once.
Yeah, I told you, let's go. She survived though.
I'm just not
like, I need natural air in my lungs.
I'm not an outdoors person either.
Like, give me a cabin with running water and a toilet.
See, but I've told you, where I camp, there's running water and toilets and showers. You just have to sleep in a tent.
So, like, maybe further on down the road, like, I don't know, podcast episode, like, 35 or something. We'll go out to the woods. We should go out to the woods and then, like, record it. And, like, literally no holds barred. And, like, everybody will be, I'll for sure be complaining.
Oh,
You'll have a bunch. Maria's like, everybody, just stop. It's not that bad.
I'm going to have my activities chart, and you guys are going to be like, shut up, Maria.
I'm going to be in the woods like Blair Witch Project. I feel like I'm dying because that's how I am.
Maria will be checking off. Catching salmon by hand. Check.
Also, my mother would never. That's the one thing. Me and my mother, we will not camp. We will
I mean,
glamp. We will glamp.
I would love to glamp. I just want to go
I'm
outdoors.
not
You
sleeping.
gotta try it. You gotta try it. But you know, it's funny when you said the Disney thing too. So like me, I the first time I went to Disney, I think I was 34 or 35. It was actually my first vacation ever because I was always working. Since I was 15, I was always working, and I never took a vacation. And the first vacation I was able to take, it was just me, my daughter, my son, Vanessa, and we just went to Disneyland. And I think you guys were there too at that time, but we didn't get to sync up as much. I think we only met like in the park one time.
I remember that.
But it was hecka funny because like I was just like I just wanted to take my kids because I never went and I didn't want my kids to not experience that. And then I hecka like Disney, dude.
Now you're a Disney adult.
Now annual pass, I renewed my annual pass even though I may not even be able to get there for the next 6 months.
You're like, just so I have it, just for the option.
Yeah, because Vanessa's dad lives out there, so there's like that time that we were all in LA for I think it was for my birthday, and we were just like, oh, we need something from the park. Oh, there's a date open, and then we just ran into the park real quick.
That's when they got the popcorn buckets.
Yeah,
for
we
us.
got the Pete's Dragon, the Elliot Dragon.
I was dude. It's like side note. I don't know if I ever told you. That's when I really felt like I made it.
Oh my god!
I was like, because we're all out there and everything. Because I didn't grow up with much, you know what I mean? But like when we were there, it's like, oh, let's just go to Disneyland real quick. Like never in a million
you can
years
just
would
walk
I thought
in
that would be an option.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
I thought that was pretty funny. But what about you, Britt? What are you passionate about outside of this?
Okay, well, other than Disney
and not camping,
the Patriots.
The Patriots. Go ahead, but expand because it was the Tom Brady Patriots.
No,
when you first got into it.
No,
right?
Yes, the Tom Brady Patriots. I remember I watched the infamous
you have
Raider
your poster back there.
Yeah, the infamous Raider
the
Tuck Rule game. That anytime I wear my jersey, I'm so done with all the Raiders fans yelling Tuck Rule. Like
Did you still
every
get it
time,
today?
yes. Anytime I wear that jersey, I get a Tuck Rule if I'm in public.
That was such a long time ago.
But you know, people are always
Google
going to be,
how
like,
long
I'm not
ago
even
that
big
was.
into sports, but people are always going to be salty.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have won the next round anyway. They would have played the Steelers and got blown out.
I mean, that was in 2001. That means 21
Dang, I
years
was
later,
6 years old.
you're still getting hit
Yes.
with the Tuck Rule.
Anyways.
Raider fans, man.
They're so salty.
Mike,
Mike's
look at
sitting
him,
there.
hands up
Mike has
behind
to
the
be
camera.
quiet. He can't say anything. He's wearing a Raider hat. Just FYI, Mike's in the background wearing a Raider hat. That's why we expanded on it.
yeah, right?
Yes. So, yes, I wear that jersey, and I just get so much. Even if I wear my Mac Jones jersey, I was like, he had nothing to do with it. Like,
Mac
He wasn't
alone.
even born when it happened, probably.
even
Who knows?
Edelman. And when I wear my Edelman or Mac Jones, it's that. And I'm like, those two literally didn't have. I mean, if I wear my Brady jersey, maybe. But, I mean, Brady has said it should have been a fumble. Like,
I mean, he could say it now. He won a championship.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
I'm like-
I would do it too.
So-
This
what
conversation
what else about
is
the Patriots
difficult
is it
for
that-
me.
that you're passionate about?
I don't
What
know,
is it
just-
about them?
I love Belichick. I love the whole like team. I just love
The whole culture.
Even
yeah.
the
the cutoff sleeves. Like if I
You
could
like
rock
them
that
cutoff
sweater, I
sleeves,
would, but I
Brittany?
can't.
Dude, Belichick's a go for that.
Yeah, he
those,
is.
are, those are like the prison cutoff stuff that you wear, like his cutoff sweaters. and
Yeah,
everything.
I just
I'm gonna
love
get
like
you one for your birthday.
I just love that whole growing up. That's when I made the decision that game. I was like, I'm not gonna be a Raiders fan, but I do like.
Bless
I
your
liked
heart.
watching the Patriots, so I was like, I'm gonna stick to the
Why do you
Patriots
like the Niners?
because that just wasn't the game. I had that eye-opening moment. This was the game where I was like,
You should have been
Patriots.
a Niners fan.
Nah.
Dude,
There would have been 3 of us at this
Yeah,
table.
we would have welcomed you, but now it's just me, Jordan, Lil Mike, and Maria.
So other than that,
Yep.
obviously playing. I mean, I can't play much anymore, but playing basketball was a huge
Beg
part
to
of my
differ.
my life, and I do love it. I love basketball. Not necessarily watching it.
You hold a high school record still, yeah?
I do. I hold the 3-point record for one season, and
What? Shout out Reggie Miller. She's coming for you.
I don't think anybody has ever come close. Every now and then I'll check it.
How many threes did you hit?
It's in the 70s.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
How many games did you play?
It was high school league, so not that many.
73?
60 to 70, and I think the closest somebody has come is like maybe 30.
What? So you were Steph Curry in high school before Steph Curry.
Uncle John,
in high school.
I can't run fast. I can't jump.
Uncle John.
I can shoot though.
I can shoot.
I can spot shoot. That's all you have to do.
That was my job.
Hey.
I stood in the corner, or I got to that. I was a genius at finding the open spot, and I would shoot.
Dude,
Wait,
that's what Reggie
can
did.
I
Reggie made a
insert-
career doing that.
Can I insert something about how much of polar opposites me and Brittany are? We were at Sac State and we're like, let's hit the gym, like let's go run. And then Brittany's like, well, let's go shoot let's go shoot some balls around, right? However you say that, I don't even know. That's how like terrible I am.
Maria, not that. That's not how you say that.
I played in
Let's
sixth
go
grade.
double
People,
dribble somewhere.
sixth grade and like for like a month in ninth grade, right? So I'm like, yeah, let's go, right? I have a basketball hoop in my house. I can hoop. And so we get there and there's these guys and they're like, oh, we're going to play a game real quick. Do you guys want to like play with us? And so they look at us and they each pick one of each of us. And
I think I was wearing one of Jordan's Delta basketball hoodies. So
Yeah.
they were like, I was first picked.
yeah, they picked Brittany first. Obviously they picked me second,
And
whatever.
then
I wasn't hurt about it. I really
think
wasn't.
their thought process was, oh, if she can play.
Yeah, they thought Brittany, they saw Brittany like legit hooping. Like she was hitting her threes, same as always. And here I am just kind of like rebounding.
Rebounding.
So then they picked me and I felt so bad because like, you have no idea how bad I suck and you just picked me on your team. So I kid you not, the rest of the time I'm like tailing Brittany and I'm like, let me get the ball from you so they'll think I'm good. But Brittany, true best friend, doesn't give me the ball. So I just look like a fool in front of all these guys and I'm like, great. I'm just
So what
not
was it, like
athletic.
a 3-on-3, 4-on-4?
No, it's 5-on-5. It's just a
5-on-5?
pickup game.
Awful.
Because when you go to the gym there, like people are just playing. So, I mean, I was shooting around, so they asked us to play.
That's hecka funny.
And then
See,
on
keyword,
top,
she was shooting around. I was just rebounding.
and then on
So-
top of all of this, they were like, "You guys are guarding each other," and I was laughing like, "Okay."
Brittany's like,
Brittany
easy
said
day.
she can't run. I can't run. So that was just all bad. It was good times. Good times.
Is there any video of this?
Oh, heck no.
I would have loved to have seen some video.
We can recreate it one day.
I'm all about it. That'd be hecka funny.
Yeah.
All right. So one of the other things that I wanted to ask, so this is kind of like a two-part question for each of you, because I'm sure a lot of people that are into reselling, they always want to know like how much money you could make off certain items and like what's the creepiest things that you've ever had. So two-part question. One, what is like the creepiest or craziest thing you've ever found? And then the second one, and both of you guys have to answer this, what's the most money that you've made? Like an item that you found and either you made the most money of, or like you've bought for a quarter and sold it for $1,000. I don't know, whatever that is. So what two items like that have you ever came across?
Okay, my creepiest item was a World War II item. I don't want to get like too specific, but I can't believe I found it. And I don't know what to do with it. So it was left in a bin, but I can't believe I saw something from that era here in the United States.
So World War II, it was probably German in nature.
Yes, and I cannot believe my eyes saw that. Like,
what was it, like a clock or something?
It was a speaker, and apparently was used for propaganda.
It's scary.
So
Yeah.
like the speakers that they would have out
And
in the different towns.
every home had one. And there's one in the Smithsonian. And the history of it was just placed. Every home had one, and it was for propaganda. And this one, it was insane. Like
That's
I can't
crazy.
believe.
Well, you reached out to someone like a couple years ago, but they never really gave you like an answer on how to send it to them. Because Brittany was like, I need to get rid of this. Like I don't want
Yeah.
it. I don't want to make money off of it. I just
Right.
I
Right,
actually
you're not
leave
gonna
it
sell
there
it.
and it get in the
Yeah.
wrong hands.
Right.
I contacted
But-
the Holocaust Museum, but then COVID hit, and so they never got back to me because obviously everything closed down. But yeah, so that was literally like that. Legit
hecka crazy.
scared me.
I
Like,
actually
That's
told
hecka
Brittany the
crazy.
other day, you need to send that to them. Just send it to
yeah,
their
like
address.
it got
'Cause-
like and it was just crazy because you grow up about hearing about this and you study it in school, but to physically see something that has those logos and that history attached to it is
Right.
like eerie
Right.
and like
Well, because you know what comes with it,
Yeah.
and there's a story behind it. You know it was
It
somewhere.
like hits you in the gut.
Where
it
was
does.
it?
Like I
Yeah.
can't explain like that feeling of seeing
Dude, I'm
the
sure.
logo.
Like I'm getting
like
that's hecka crazy.
yeah, and it's like I don't know, like I said, it just gives you this eerie feeling, and I just never want to find something like that again,
I wouldn't.
ever.
What about you? Creepiest thing?
Honestly, I don't have a creepy thing.
Craziest thing, then.
Craziest thing, like my biggest profit? I'll give you
craziest and biggest profit.
Okay, so my craziest find that I would have never suspected I would make this much money off of was a bag of stickers that I found on a wall at an eco thrift, and it was marked 99 cents, and it was a bunch of like Team Green Kawasaki stickers and like old school Sobe stickers and just like stacks of them. I paid 99 cents for the whole bag, and like over the course of like a year, I sold each sticker anywhere from like $15 to $34 each.
How many stickers were in there?
Over 100. So I had to clear $1,000. I think it cleared $1,000
from stickers.
From 99 cents.
What made them so important?
People just collect stickers, and they were like a legitimate like original
like racing
Kawasaki,
too, right? Yeah,
like racing like motorcycle stickers.
What?
And like I had a couple vintage ones in there that sold for the most, but like. I even like kept a couple just for nostalgia and like stuck them on my guitar because I was like,
I just stuck a couple $100 on my guitar.
Like,
that's what I heard.
that one like makes me like I'm like yeah, that was like the most satisfying I think. But the coolest thing that I found was it was an aluminum violin from at the Wampa, and it was an aluminum violin from 1932, and it was called like Aluminum Co. And it was just the body of the violin. Like, the strings were missing, the bow was missing, the case was, the little bridge was missing. I think even the knobs at the top were missing. And that was another thing that was in the Smithsonian. Only like 150 or 132 were ever manufactured.
Of what? Of
this exact violin. And it's crazy because as the
there
band
is
is
a reason, because when you look on the Smithsonian, I'll tell you, there was a reason why it was an aluminum, and it had to do with like whatever was going on in the world.
It was probably like there was probably like the money shortage. Like you know how there's certain like.
So it had to be aluminum, but they only made this many because it really didn't work well.
What are they normally then? Like copper or something?
No, wooden, right?
Wooden, yeah, like wooden violins.
Wooden. So there was a wood shortage?
I don't know, but
I don't know.
Whatever it was.
I'm glad it was made of aluminum.
When they used aluminum, it said though that it didn't work properly, so they didn't make that many.
I mean, I wouldn't imagine being able to play anything
less than 200.
I
can't remember the exact count.
So it's
rolling
do you know
by
how much
me.
It's worth?
Well, okay, so it's rolling by me in a bin, and I'm like,
this is the bin. They're taking it back to they put
crushed.
them in a compactor.
It's about to get crushed. Yeah. Like I missed it in the rotation. So as it's going by me, I pick up any instrument. So I just grabbed it real quick, and I'm looking at it. And Brittany's helping me look it up. She's like, Maria, there's one of these in the Smithsonian. I was like, stop. And so it's before
on its way.
It's on its way to its death to get crumpled up in the back. And so I'm like, okay. What it's at the Smithsonian. All right, I'm obviously getting it. I think I paid by weight $2, $2.50.
So I put it on my eBay and pay it, people.
Weigh and pay.
Exactly. I put it on my eBay. Starting bid $10,000. I was like, let's go.
Maria shot for the moon on that one.
I'm assuming you didn't sell it because it wasn't your biggest profit.
Starting bid.
$1 million.
And I was like, okay, no one bid for a week, right? I drop it to 75, 5,000, 2,500, right? Nothing on the auction. So finally I put it up for 2,500 or best offer. And I was like, I was right before my 21st birthday. And I one night I get a
So Maria's like, I need to go to Vegas. I just need anything.
I get an offer for $1,750. I was like, accept. And I sold it for $1,700. And I was like, Brittany, we're going to Vegas. And we did. We went to Vegas for our 21st birthday. Dang. And I didn't spend all the money, but I spent a lot of it.
but you, I wonder what it was worth. There was only two. I don't know if I'd have been.
Well, I had it on there, like multiple starting points, and like I think I got it evaluated by like an online source, and they said it was worth like maybe 800 to 1,000. So when I sold it, I was like, chumps, 1,700.
Oh, 800 to 1,000. So you came up.
Yeah.
And then you gambled it.
Yeah, I lost. It's okay though. It was a good memory.
What about you, Britt? What's your biggest profit?
Biggest profit.
This year.
I've sold so much, but the one thing that sticks in my mind was it's from the Wampa. It was a T-shirt. It was actually a long sleeve button-up Ralph Lauren shirt. I remember I can actually remember the bin I pulled it out of. It was on Franklin and Sack. I pulled it out of a bin against the wall after everyone went through it. It was a green Ralph Lauren shirt, had plaid arms. And the back had like a scene of a guy like kayaking or something. And it looked painted on. So I was like, oh, Ralph Lauren, I'll get it. And it had like a couple bleach stains. And I remember going home and looking it up. And I can't remember the line, but it's some specific Ralph Lauren line that's really expensive. And I think I sold that shirt for $1,000, and I paid less than $2 for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that in the early stages or in later
Yeah, that
stages?
was an early stage. So that was like, ooh.
Those are the things that keep the adrenaline
that was
pumping
like-
too.
You're always looking for that piece. You're always looking for like that. Because
that
like
rush.
everything else adds up. And it's like, I will 1,000%, I think any of us resellers, like whoever's watching or just anybody, you're going to pick up bread and butter. You're going to pick up things that sell anywhere from like 10 to $100 all day long, right? Or 10 to $50 all day long, because it's what keeps your business going. But finding those like $100 plus items are just like, I love it. It's so fun.
I can imagine.
It's fun.
I mean, especially when you know you didn't pay a lot for it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I as a hustler in my former life, I get it.
In your former life.
in my former profession.
But like you can find, even if you find something there and you sell it for $100 to like $200, I'm still stoked about it. I'm like, yes, let's taking like a $2 into $100. I could do that all day,
Do we
every
have
day.
time for one more? Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, we have time for plenty of stories because honestly, this is kind of like this is what I wanted to spend the most time on is like the craziest and coolest things that you guys have found because I think people are interested in that.
Well, another one is then I forget his name and I'll find it later and I'll find the screenshot because I know I still have it somewhere. It was a painting and the way it was framed, like you go to the bins and you see things the way that they're framed all the time, or like even going through like Marshall's or Walmart or Target, like you see the way things are framed now. And this was just framed super nice, like gallery like quality, right? So I'm looking at it and it has like a number.
It's a painting?
It's like a drawing and it's got like a little signature and a number. And I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool, right? So I think I got it for like $3 to $5, and I listed
painting signature number.
Right?
I'm already excited.
Okay, I didn't sell it for a ton, but who I sold it to is the
cool,
best part.
probably.
Yes, and I was like, I think I had it up for like $300 because I think his last name was Killian.
The painter?
Yes, and I had it up for like $300 because similar prints were selling for about that much. Well, I get an email on eBay, and it's literally the artist. And he's like, hey, like, it's like, that's my art. I was wondering if you'll take this for it. I have collectors that have been asking me for this piece, and I'm out of stock in it. I no longer have it. It was a limited print. And I was like, yeah. So I like knocked off, he wanted like $50 off, and I was like, yes, I'll sell it to the artist. So that was also like a really cool, that was like, oh, I sold it to an artist. I sold an artist his art.
That's crazy. I wonder how much it was worth.
He probably he's the one who's gonna get the most for it, not me on eBay.
I know, but still.
I know.
I mean, can you imagine this guy's probably been looking for this for heck of long, and he comes across it. And did you tell him where it was at?
Fate? Oh, no.
It was at the Weigh and Pay, right?
Yeah, it was at the Weigh and Pay.
You didn't tell him, like, hey, somebody tossed this.
Yeah, someone put it in.
It was about to get compacted with my aluminum violin.
Here, I have
and I
one.
saved it from the jaws of death.
I have an interesting one. Okay, so we were at the Weigh and Pay, and this is again early. We found this, like, it was this metal.
Oh, God, I know what you're going to say.
It was a metal, it had a winery on it, engraved in it. Like, it looked expensive.
What was it?
It was like a table, but it ends up being where they put the, like, barrels or something behind, and they serve from it. Like, wineries.
Like, where you would put the keg. And then you'd put the keg, and then you would essentially just, like, pour the tap.
Yeah, so some kind of table, right?
Yeah.
But we found it at the Weigh and Pay. And I was like, this is heavy. It's metal. It's really cool. Okay, paid like $5 for it. Because when it's a heavy item, they used to just give you like one price, right? So we were like, let's just list it local because it's really heavy, and let's see if somebody wants it, you know, for like a man cave or a backyard piece. Well,
because Lodi, wine country.
Wine.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
we get a message, and we actually sold it by Sac State because we were at school, and Maria was like, oh, someone wants to buy it. Let's go meet up with him. Ends up being the person that wants to buy it was from the winery and made it, and he said it got stolen out of his car, and he gave us $20. And then he was like, email me and I'll give you like samples of all our beer, and we never got it.
What was the name of the wine? Or
It wasn't a wine. It was a brewery.
A brewery. I think
it was Ninkasi.
I think he sent us some shirts.
Yeah, he sent us shirts and stuff. But
it was something that was stolen from him. You guys got it back.
Someone probably stole it and then ditched, because he said it was like stolen with with an iPad and stuff. So at this point, we can't sell stolen goods, right? So we're
Right.
like, well, we're not going to sell it to you. He's like, because he was willing to buy it back. I was like, honestly, no. Like, I'm not going to, like, fact check you. But I was like, honestly, I paid $20 from it from the bins because it was heavy.
Oh, that's right. It was 20.
And so he's like, okay, I'll give you the 20 you paid for it, like, as, you know, back as, like, a finder's fee. He's like, and then I'll send you some free merch and stuff. And so he did send us, like, a couple free shirts, but never, like, the samples of the Nicosia.
You guys got to be, like, cops, kind of.
Yeah, a little bit. Our
like, I mean,
our degrees and, like, our good morals came into play there.
So that was a fun one. I think that's the only one of that kind that we've ever come across.
So somebody wants me to ask Maria about Thor in Vegas.
Who said that?
Somebody's asking me, ask Maria about Thor in Vegas.
I already know who that is. No. Charles? I see you here. Papa Trophy. Oh my goodness. So
Papa Trophy Room wants.
So in ThriftCon, which that skateboard's
I don't know what the story is. I was just told to
You
ask.
don't know the story?
I
Oh
don't
my
know
god.
the story, so
Okay.
that's why I was told.
I'm
to
like
ask
so
him,
red
him.
now
Maria is
because
extremely red, but I will start it off.
because
and
he
say,
always does this to me.
We were at
You're legit red. What?
we were at ThriftCon in Vegas, and this guy comes in, and initially he's tall, and Jordan comes running. Ask him
Dreamy.
if he's on the hockey team. Vegas
The Knights.
The
right?
Knights.
Ask him if he's on the hockey team.
They asked you to go ask him.
I don't remember. It was me and Ariana, and I think Jordan just wanted one of us to ask him. I don't remember who he wanted us to ask.
But like we were looking at him because he started speaking and he sounds like
was-
Thor. So
he
we were
was
like,
Chris
oh my
Hemsworth.
gosh.
But not Chris Hemsworth.
He was Chris Hemsworth without the actual face, but he had the hair, the
The
voice,
voice,
and the
the
rest
body
of him.
type, the height.
So Maria
Maria's
was like,
still stuttering.
Maria was done. Like she was like, oh my gosh.
Me and
Thor.
Ariana were literally like staring at him with our mouths open, and like we were both like fanning ourselves, like, oh my gosh. And then Becky was like, you guys don't do this in front of me. And I'm like, Becky, look at him. He's gorgeous. And so then Gilbert keeps calling him Thor, but he turned out to be.
He turned out to work for Thunder Down Under.
Yeah, he was an exotic dancer, not
So
Thor.
what's
Hence
funny?
hence the fantastic shape.
So
Yeah,
he
hence
so
the
he took a
fantastic
picture.
shape.
He took a picture with you or Ariana.
I think it was with Ariana.
So he took a picture with somebody.
It definitely was Ariana. I'd remember, and I'd have it framed if it was me.
and so I
And we'd be
sent.
showing it right now. on
Yeah.
Yeah,
camera.
I sent the
It's not me.
picture. I sent the picture to my cousin Jessica in Reno.
God.
I just sent her the picture, and she goes, "Oh my God, that's the guy from Thunder Down Under."
So she knew right
She
away.
knew right away.
She's seen Thunder Down Under. That's why.
She's like, he came to Reno.
Oh my gosh. No, me and my friends always used to joke.
Not a movie star, not a hockey player.
Not me. One of my friends was always like, when we turn 21, we're going to go see Thunder Down Under. I'm not knocking it, but I don't think I could. But now I've seen him in real life. That's all I
I don't
need.
even know what that is.
That's all I need.
I mean, I
Magic
could tell.
Mike.
I could tell
Magic
what it is
Mike
based on what you guys are saying,
Australian version.
But I've never.
It's like a
heard
bunch
it.
of Thors in Magic
Oh my
Mike.
bunch of
Maybe
Thors.
we should go. Anyways,
We're gonna get
carried
sponsored
away.
by Thunder Down Under.
No, that's not the
We're gonna call-
sponsorship we want. John.
I'll take it.
We'll have the nickname the Thunderdome.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
I think
my
Pat
God.
McAfee already has that, though. We might not be able to.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
that's hecka crazy. So what other things have you got? Well, what's a crazy situation you've encountered? I was gonna ask about situations, not necessarily pieces you guys might have, but like even on some of your travels, right? Because like you said, building up this business, you guys have been to a bunch of different thrift cons. You've been all over the United States. Like what's one of the coolest or craziest stories you guys have from one of your trips?
Oh,
That's
that could be
more-
its own episode.
Yeah, that's
though.
its own.
That's
ep-
like
like
that's
that's,
a
but
that's
that's
a
not
beast.
thrifting. That was
No.
like that was retail, and that's its own episode.
We need to do an episode on like our retail arbitrage because that is like that's a crazy. That'll take up an entire episode.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Dude, did I just
Next
hit,
episode.
Did I just hit on something? All right, so next
Next episode.
we're gonna talk about the travels.
Yes.
Yes.
So maybe
yeah.
so I guess so then the introduction.
We can talk about like our thrift cons though because I mean
well,
that's,
that'll be the 2-part, right? So what
Okay,
we'll do
yeah.
today's the introduction. It'll be a 2-part introduction. First episode is about how it came to be, and then all of the travels and things
Yeah.
like that come along with it. And then as we go, we'll start to venture off into other things.
Okay.
So Being that this is our first podcast, I think we wanted to at least get it going for about an hour. I think we're almost there. But do you guys have anything else that you guys want to, I don't know, mention, talk about to any of your community, all of your whatnot day ones?
We have, I don't know, are we saving questions for the end? Because I am watching. We could do questions because I am watching, and I want to say shout out to Blue and Ashley. I see you in here.
Hey,
I see life is full of curves.
You're my boy, Blue.
Let's go. I see my mom. Shout out to my mom. Thank you for my life.
Thank you for my life. shout out, Mama Vidal.
Our first question was, how did we come up with the name Trophy Room? I don't think it's a special story, but feel free.
I think it's a special story. It's a trophy room.
And then tell all the other names we were going to do.
Oh my gosh, I can't even remember the other names, but
Or
I
one
could
funny
tell
name
you,
and then the story of how you came up with the trophy
we
room.
were in January 2021, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were in
Tahoe.
Tahoe for my dad's birthday. We were in a cabin or in a hotel, all of us. And I'm telling you, we talked all night. And that's the time we decided to do this. This the time that my brothers were like, we're all in. Maria was all in. My parents were there. They were just like listening and they were supportive. And so we were like, okay, next step, a name. So I can't even, do you remember the names? Drip was one of them.
Okay,
Drip?
so
Drip.
Yeah, because you know how it came through dripping, like came drip, drip. And
Drip,
so,
drip.
and then so Brittany goes, what if we make an energy drink and we call it drip too? And I'm like, so like our conversations, like they.
Yo,
mean,
hey,
so
that's
good.
trademarked. That's trademarked.
I've wanted to create an energy drink since day one.
Yeah,
Or
Brittany
a
has
coffee.
really always
A
mentioned.
coffee.
Actually, I lied.
These are great ideas.
Dutch Bros sponsor me.
Dutch
I know,
Bros sponsor us. We're gonna create.
You're
a
in my
coffee.
veins.
Coffee
You're in my
called
veins.
Drip.
You're in my veins.
Dude, don't start talking about Dutch Bros.
I
right now.
know, huh? We need to go get some. But I mean, I think a lot of ours were like, we joked about different ones, and I can't even really remember. I probably have it in a notebook somewhere,
But
all the different names.
We came to Trophy Room because the idea of our initial store plan was like, we're going to display all our trophies, which I think we're still going to do because we all play sports. We all had trophies. We all have newspaper articles written. We all have, different things from our time playing. So we wanted to display all those things. And so my dad has a ton. My dad has a ton of newspaper articles. So we were thinking, let's just call it the Trophy Room. Because then it's a place where all our trophies are going to be displayed and people can come in and see them.
Hey, and on that note, shout out to Stockton United, PFL, 7-on-7, comp champs. Mike wanted to bring his
trophy right here?
so he could put it right here because he said the trophy room.
You should have,
I
Mike.
told him to bring it because I mean that's.
Well, yeah, it's going to be a place for all the family to Maddie with her golf, Mike with his football trophy. Whoever has in our family, whoever has articles, things,
The Niners with their Super Bowl trophy that's going to come this year.
Yep.
No.
And my
Hey,
participation basketball trophy from second grade. Does that count?
It counts.
Maria's
Okay.
spelling bee
Oh, no,
medal
no,
from
my-
third grade.
No, actually, I got
Dude, I got
best
heck of those.
mock trial best
Participation
attorney,
award?
2013. Thank you. My
Participation?
mock trial medal. Thank you very much.
Dude, the coolest trophy type thing I own, side note, is not even like a trophy. It's what your dad bought me. So all of the 49ers Super Bowls,
Oh, yeah.
he got me the rings of the replicas, and I keep them in my room. Dude,
He
they're
did that
so dope.
for a whole year because I think Mike has Boston Red Sox. I have all the
Dude, don't-
Patriots.
Don't breast your Uncle John's.
No, I'm just
Your
saying,
Uncle
like, my
John's.
No,
dad
that
went
was
on.
all I wanted
No,
to
I was like, my dad went on, like, a whole, when he does it, he
Yeah.
does it, is my point.
Yeah.
Like, when Papa Trophy does something, he does it for everybody.
He's always that way. No, it doesn't matter what it is. Like even when it comes to like the kids, like I remember when Amaya first started doing cheer and she's doing round offs in the living room. He's like, move the stuff out of the way, guys. Let her do some cartwheels around. I'm like, bro, we're in the house. He's like, no, just trust me, guys. Watch this, everybody.
Yeah.
Bro, relax.
Sometimes
She's
he's
six.
like, when the kids are all doing something, I taught him that.
That's,
Oh
how
my
That's his
gosh.
thing. I taught him that.
You probably
Dude,
did, though.
I'm looking at some of the comments. It's hecka funny. So there's one of the comments says, "Let's shoot balls around." Brit 2023.
That was Maria.
That was actually me.
that was yours.
It was me.
That was.
Brittany would
Maria's,
never
huh?
say, let's shoot balls around. That's Maria.
Yeah, no.
All the way. Sorry.
Yeah. See.
Let's hoop. Is that better?
A lot of
Let's
camping.
hoop.
A lot of camping.
Oh, and my mom
too.
said, by the way, 4. You're
Yeah,
allowed to have 4
4
yard sales
I think
now.
Lodi we can only have 2 because our neighbor
love
is
you, Mom.
our neighbor is friends of the police department or
Yeah.
whatever.
That's crazy though. Like, not to get too off course, but 2, 4, like 4 per
It's
year.
taxes. It's
'Cause they wanna
because
make
then
their
you're
money.
having like, it's essentially then a business. So you're supposed to like report everything. to
Same
taxes
with
and
like
stuff.
if you go to the flea market, you can only do 2 before
Or
you have to.
like we have to when we go, and that's a whole other episode, the flea market.
you have to
get into
provide
that,
a.
too.
I did one. I
Did
did
you?
one with you guys. Remember? I went with
Oh yeah,
you.
you did come with
Yeah,
us. You
we
and
did
Vanessa.
we did a whole booth.
That was honestly really fun. That was a
was
fun
lit.
day.
I mean, I don't know if it was.
I love the
It was
flea
fun
market.
being with you guys.
Yeah.
That was it.
Oh, see, I'm in my element
work.
at the flea market. Like the music playing, the
Yeah,
smell,
that was
the
pretty cool.
smell.
The
like
fact that
food.
they
the
the fact that
food
they
is bomb.
blast Mexican music at 4:30 in the morning.
We're like setting up our booth,
full-blown.
and it's like Selena playing. And,
Her man's.
No, that's its
he-
own episode.
That's its own episode too, you
That's a
guys. I
novella.
almost met
That's
the
a
love of my
novella
life at the flea
story.
market, but then he disappeared. I don't know where he went. We almost talked once.
We have to find him.
We almost talked once, but don't
have-
even say
Almost
it.
talked once. You sound like a stalker now.
I have best friend creeper pics,
Yeah, Brittany did take
I
creeper
got in the
pics of
truck,
us from the truck.
and I like took pictures.
Well, because Jessica was asking, I want to see what he looks like. And I
Wait,
was
you guys
like,
would talk or you wouldn't talk?
well, okay, so where
trying
we
to
were
figure out if
going,
this
a lot
is,
of
like,
people
a
only
Okay,
spoke
stalker.
Spanish.
My question was he over 18? Because some Mexican men look older and they're not. Because he always came with his mom and dad.
Yeah, but but that's the opposite too, though.
It's
'cause-
usually the other way around.
Yeah, people are
'Cause,
older,
I
look
mean,
younger.
I don't want to brag, but I don't think I look 41,
Yeah,
42.
no, you don't. And I just got told the other day I look 15, so I was like, thank you.
What?
Yeah, or 16. was
I
like,
get
thank
carded
you.
by every time
like
I'm
10
at a
years
casino.
more than that, but
The people
That's,
that
well,
the,
you're getting carded because you're always winning. There's a difference.
No, but the people that
Sure,
card
Brittany
me,
literally walks into the casino and they're like, Brittany's here. hide the slot machine.
no, but I get carded by people that are younger than me. So when they like, can I see your ID? I'm like, I'm probably older than you.
Yeah,
Then-
you guys look way young.
well,
So
this
it's-
year's
that's why I
my
said it's
10-year
typically the
high
other way.
school. I don't know if we're having like an anniversary thing, but it's 10 years that I graduated high
Reunion.
school. Yeah, that.
Dang,
Reunion.
10 years?
Now,
crazy.
this year I feel old. It's the first time I've ever felt. kinda
Maria
old.
never even got his name.
No, I don't know his name. I think.
Let's give him a name.
What are we gonna call him?
Luis.
You know why did I was gonna say that? I kid you not, John. I was gonna say I think I imagined his name was Luis. I kid you not.
Why did you say it out loud?
But it's
That would make you
weird. It's
crazy.
weird for me because that's my cousin's name, so I don't want to imagine that name. And then my dad and my brother are both named Jose. Thanks, Mom. And
Vanessa's dad.
so I can
Jose.
never meet a Jose because I'm gonna be like, oh, this is my dad Jose and my brother Jose and my husband Jose
And my kid
son
Jose.
Jose and my name is Maria.
And his kid Jose.
And I'm like, come on now, like this is like.
He was cute though. He was.
mean,
I
that's
will
actually-
say that.
oh my gosh.
And I couldn't play the best friend
it's so sad.
because I didn't speak Spanish. I don't speak Spanish, so it's not like I can be like, "Hey."
Blew it. Luis, where you
Yeah.
at?
His name, I don't think his name's Luis, but he'd come in with his mom and dad. And
His
like,
name's Luis.
So, okay,
When
but
we-
the thing is, like, he came into the booth. He'd always only come in once. The last time I seen him, he came in twice. He
And he-
circled back,
he
and he smiled at me this time.
She
and I was like,
missed
we're
her
going to
shot.
talk today, finally. And
He
he's like,
shot
just
his
say
shot.
something. And I almost did. And, like, lingering eyes, and then nothing. And I
And
never
he
seen him
always
again.
made it a point to buy a bunch. So the
Yeah.
last time I remember, he didn't really find much, but he kept going back looking through the racks.
The same
and
stuff
he
was on the rack the
finally
whole time,
bought-
John.
I
There's only,
think-
like, 40 shirts.
I think he bought like a belt, and this one didn't make eye contact with him. And I'm
I
like,
got
Maria,
nervous.
that was your shot. That was it.
If you guys had had me there, it would have been over. He'd be sitting
Well-
right here right now.
Look, we'll check back in, and, like, once flea market season comes back around, we'll go back.
Danny said, "We on it, fam. We gonna find him."
Oh my gosh,
I
I'll
mean-
get you guys the creepy
I'll
pics.
see if I can find the
We'll get
picture.
the creeper pics. I mean, you could do a web search from pictures.
No, that's creepy though.
I
How are
have
they gonna
them.
find of me?
I mean, I don't. I mean,
No,
you
there's
could-
nothing out
I
there to
mean,
find, but that's
in this day and
creepy.
age, whatever they find, we could just deny it.
Yeah, true.
Anybody
Well-
finds anything on me, I'm denying it.
I'm
Doesn't
not gonna
matter.
lie. If you search my name, there's some. I don't know why the newspaper put that picture of me. I'm like tripping over a basketball or something, and I'm like, that's the one.
Wait, let me
You're talking
look
about my
this
stats, and
Hold
that's
on.
the one you
You're looking
decided.
at the stats,
and I'm
Brittany's
like,
going backwards.
falling to
I'm
the
literally
sides, I'm
googling
like,
you
no.
right now.
What
Is this
Like,
real?
Played
what city?
me.
What city do they need to start in? Because, you know, whenever you get the internet to start to sleuth, it's over. They're going to find him.
But his name's not Luis, so we can't go off that.
I know, but they can do image searches.
It was in Fresno.
In Fresno.
Yeah. Brittany, you're lying.
I'm not. It used to come up.
Well, now it's just a picture of you on Twitter, so it's a normal picture.
Let me see. There used to be. Let me see. Type in
We're
my
going to start
name.
Googling ourselves and see what comes up? I don't want to do that.
No, I don't want to either. I just Googled Brittany. That's it.
I don't know if
Google
it's
my
gonna,
name.
I don't know
Don't
if it's
Google
going to be
me.
good or bad.
Well, I just like, that's kind of like, I feel like my Max Preps photo will come up, and that's
Max Preps?
embarrassing. Yeah.
Why is that
From,
embarrassing?
like-
What'd you play?
Because I played softball and I warmed the bench most times. But it's okay.
But it's, I mean, you got stats?
I got stats.
You got home
I'm a
runs?
baller.
You got dingers? You got home runs? I don't know how to play basketball. I don't know the lingo, but I can play softball.
Yeah, good times.
That's funny.
What did Ashley say? I think I saw her say something.
She said, "Maria, always shoot your shot." Rule 1.
I know.
It's not on there anymore.
Dude.
Thank God.
I mean, you
Man.
always have to shoot your shot. I
That's
remember
with
a long
anything in
time ago. A long time ago, I taught my son this because he asked me. He goes, "Dad," he's looking at this guy, below average looking dude, sees a woman, attractive, beautiful as ever. He goes, "Dad, how did that happen?" And I said, he was the one that wasn't afraid to speak up. He wasn't the one sitting against the wall. The moment you talk, the moment you speak up, you'll never know what's going to happen. But if you don't speak up, who knows?
True.
And that's what happens 9 times out of 10. That's why you always see dudes hitting out of their league, man. That's the truth.
Well, I'll let you guys know how it works out for me and Luis.
Well, on one of the like future episodes, episode 36, he'll be tracked down,
No, he'll be here with me. Come on now.
tied up.
Tied up? No.
And hopefully he has an older brother or cousin.
Luis and, I don't know. No, you can't be Miguel because Mike's Miguel.
You guys
Oh my gosh. I swear, guys,
You're gonna walk around the flea
we're business
market.
people.
You walk around the flea market just with a shirt that says "Shoot your shot."
Luis, where are you?
Just do it like you did.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking funny.
You guys, it's
All
good
right,
times.
we're gonna
Closing note, though, I think, too, like, I would like to add, shout out to all of our Whatnot family that's here right now. You guys are amazing. We do appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate the Whatnot fam coming through, and then all the
them
real
out.
life fam, too. I hope you find Daniel. Not Daniel, Mom, Luis. Love you, Mom, so much. Oh, my gosh, okay.
Okay, so I took a picture. Okay.
Brittany,
Maria
we can't keep talking
no,
about
so
this.
I took the picture.
Brittany's like, "This is not ending yet."
No, but it was.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, no, I'm just saying. When I took the picture, Maria turned and smiled.
I did.
So it's like a picture of them together.
I'll show you after this. I got to find it in my phone.
And they are cute. He is cute. Like, he's a cute kid. Kid. I
He's
don't
a
know.
cute kid. He might not be 18.
He has
Probably
to
why
be
he didn't
now.
shoot a shot.
Oh,
He has to be now.
All right, so are we gonna? So what's the date we're gonna do this? Because I know we're a day late because of me. Are we gonna keep this on Wednesdays? All right, so tune in for next Wednesday, guys. We'll be doing the podcast. We had to do it a day late because of me, so I apologize. But yeah, so if you guys have obviously the link for YouTube with the Trophy Room TV, and then you got TikTok and Instagram with the Trophy Room _, and then of course you guys have on Whatnot the Trophy Room. Sure, everybody here is probably from Whatnot, but if not, download the app and make sure that you go and watch the shows, bookmark them, all that good stuff. I can't tell what Mike's also telling me. Oh yeah, like and subscribe. Don't forget. This is my first time hosting any show ever.
You
so
did great.
if you guys have any type of like critique, comments, call outs, concerns, open to them. I'm still trying to figure out my podcast name too. That's why I didn't really introduce myself. My streamer name is the Baba Yaga. I might still go by that, or I might just be like Unk.
Uncle John.
I might just be like Unk. I like because Di calls me that too, so it's like DJ Unk.
Okay, I like
We'll see.
that.
We'll see what happens. But all right, thank you guys, and tune in next week.